Hey everybody, Chris coming to you here, back on the deck once again for not a pipe or a pipe tobacco review, but a beer review, another beer review. I think the last time I did one of those was back around Christmas time, and I think it was Sam Adams Old Fezziwig Ale, and how tasty that was. This one's going to be a little bit different, but I guess since I got a pipe in my hand and we are the YouTube pipe community, got to do a little housekeeping. This is my Bjarn pipe. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Bjarn. And in it I have some. Actually, it's an aromatic. It's the Christmas blend, the holiday blend from Milan Tobacconists, just down the road in Roanoke, and it's quite tasty. I'm not usually a big aromatic guy, but for some reason, whenever I do find myself drawn to an aromatic, I usually smoke it in this pipe. I don't know why. I just always smoke aromatics in this. But smokes well. But the beer that we're going to be talking about today is one that I don't know if any of you have seen this. This was one that maybe just until a couple years ago was fairly new to me. It's one that I've only really found for sale at Trader Joe's when we go visit my in-laws or go to another city that has one. I'll see this beer there, and I've never seen it anywhere else. So it may be available in other places, but it may just be one of their one of their in-house store brands. And what we're drinking today is Simpler Times Lager from the Simpler Times Brewing Company of Monroe, Wisconsin. Simpler Times Lager. They do also make this in a Pilsner, but this is the lager that I've got. And yeah, you're not reading that wrong. 6.2% ABV. Be a little careful with this. If you consume this on an empty stomach, if you're an average guy like me with an average tolerance, these things, if you haven't eaten anything, they'll hit you a little hard. I'm not gonna lie. They'll make you just a little bit sleepy. But let's get down to brass tacks here. I've only ever seen this in a can. I think they might make it in a bottle, but I only ever see it in a can. That's the only way that the Trader Joe's that I know of have it. So, don't poo-poo on a guy for drinking a beer out of can. I mean, come on, really? All right. So, we're going to crack this bad boy open, and we're going to pour. See, I actually got a glass, too, isn't that fancy? Nice pour right there. The first thing I noticed about this beer was there's a lot of carbonation going on in here. This one will give you a case of the burps if you ain't careful. Also, for being an American adjunct lager, it's fairly dark in color. I mean, it's almost an amber. So there you have it. By the way, 6-pack of this I believe costs somewhere around like $4.99, something like that. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive. So we're not talking a craft brew here, but that's not always necessarily bad. So the smell, very bready, very bready. Don't really smell a lot of hops. Pretty much what you're just smelling is that malted grain. And being that it is a little slightly darker beer, it does kind of have that well done bread smell to it. It's definitely not a lighter beer like what you would expect from like a PBR or anything like that. So let's just let's try this. Yeah. Definitely just a lot of grains, a lot of, like I said, well done bread. There's a flavor, there's a finish on the back end. It's a little mouth drying. I think maybe that's probably just because of the higher alcohol content. This is not something that you would want to drink necessarily, with maybe with pizza or with hot wings, it's got a little too much body than something like that. But you wouldn't necessarily want to pair it with a really good steak. I mean, you could, but this is good for like cheeseburgers with sautéed mushrooms and cheddar and barbecue sauce, and something in that category. But overall, it's not bad. I mean, it's it is what it is. I mean, they're not trying to make this craft. They're not trying to make this one-off by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think it's honestly probably the least expensive beer sold at Trader Joe's. But that is in a pack. I'm sure you can probably buy individual bottles of things for less than $5. But for a 6-pack, it's not entirely bad. Yeah, I'd give it probably maybe 2.5 stars out of 5. Just kind of right there in the middle. But yeah, it isn't bad. So I'm grilling some food. Got some chicken on the grill. I'm gonna go check on that here in a minute. But anyway, thought I'd let you guys know about this. So yeah, Simpler Times Lager, and like I said, they also make a Pilsner. I bought the lager. Simpler Times Lager. If you can find some, pick it up. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you've ever had this, what you think of it, or maybe if you pick some up, what you think of it. But anyway, I'm going to get back to finishing this. I'm going to get back to finishing this, and I'm going to get also back to cooking dinner. Anyway, y'all take care. Have a good evening. I'll see you later.